Good evening, Brendan Magnan, Chair of the Inland's Wetland Commission. I'd like to call to order the October 5th, 2022 regular Inland Wetland meeting. Lisa, please call the attendance.
I'm sorry, I'm going to call the roll this evening, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Bahav,
Yes.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Here.
Commissioner Jim Connors, Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Here.
Commissioner DeFlumery,
Here.
Commissioner Donaldson Gladue,
Here.
Chairman Magnan,
Here.
Commissioner Munson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Panico,
He's absent.
Commissioner Tryon.
Here.
You have
Thank
a quorum.
you. Thank you. We have a quorum. At this time, I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being publicly broadcast in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, and this recording will be made available on the City of Milford website. During the meeting, if any members of the public wish to speak, please unmute yourselves and state your name and address prior to being recognized by the chair. At this time, I would like to declare Mr. Matthew Connors as voting alternate, please. Mr. Connors, are you good with that?
agree.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to stand, and Mary Rose, if you could share the flag, we would join, if you can unmute yourselves, we could do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Give me just a second. I apologize. I'm in a little trouble sharing the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mary Rose, could you share the agenda, please?
Yep, give me just a second.
While that's happening, is there anyone here from the public that wishes to talk on topics that are not otherwise on the agenda? Going once. Do we have anybody else? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on topics not otherwise on the agenda? And calling a third time, seeing none. Moving on to item D1, that's a notice of violation. Mary Rose, could you provide an orientation to the commission for this matter?
Sure. This is a violation that was issued on September 27th to Joe and Carol Arpino for dumping of material and debris within 100 feet of a wetland. I'm going to change the share so we can, while I'm speaking, you can see what we've got going on. This is 104 Lavery Lane. And so the violation was issued for dumping of material and debris within 100 feet of a wetland in the Housatonic River watershed. The violation and sidewalk notes, along with a memo from 10-4, are in the document links. I met with Mrs. Arpino yesterday. The Arpinos are on the telephone if they want to speak after I give the violation. I visited the site based on an anonymous complaint that came in through Connecticut DEP of dumping of asphalt on the dirt driveway by the owner of 104 Lavery Lane. The photos in my sidewalk memo show the pile of stone, yard waste, and broken asphalt. on the north side of the driveway, roughly here. The material is dumped adjacent to a steep slope, and wetlands are located on the City of Milford parcels to the north of the road and the driveway. In the photo you're seeing, that wetland line where it's last been delineated is the blue and white check line. Main concern is the impact of the dump material and debris on the adjacent wetlands. Expansion of the piles could negatively impact those wetlands by filling and impacting the stability of the slope. In addition, the fill's been placed on the base of some large trees, and that could impact the health of those trees. Those trees provide a great deal of shade to that wetland. I spoke with Mrs. Arpino yesterday and again this afternoon. She stated they've been working with attorney Tom Lynch. There's a parcel on the rear over here on the lower right-hand corner that they're working to get access to for sale. And they're working on this access way with various city departments. So they don't have, Mrs. Arpino said they don't have the means at this time to do the survey and soil report as was required in the violation letter, and the mitigation plan as well. She said that they could add erosion controls to the back of the piles by mid-October and hope to move the material to access the road by the end of the month. Attorney Lynch has stated that it may take longer to get approval for the road or the driveway, and that he would ask Mrs. Arpino to have the piles of debris moved. When I spoke to Mrs. Arpino today, she thought that they, with some timing constraints they have over the next couple of weeks, she felt that they would be able to move those piles and put the erosion controls in by the end of October. I would recommend upholding the violation with a modification to require the erosion controls be installed by the, sorry, wrong one. By the 27th of this month, and that the materials pile be moved by the same time, by the 27th of the month. I also discussed with Mrs. Arpino that the bare soil that's going to be left behind would need some stabilization. And we talked about either a wildlife conservation mix, or she apparently has some native plants that she would like to repurpose for the site. And give me a second, I will find the photos so you can see the work. Okay. So this is standing on Lavery Lane, looking at that driveway you just saw with the green hatched area is roughly in this area I'm circling on the screen. The driveway goes off to the right in the photo. As you can see from the height of the trees, the way they're standing, there's a significant, probably a 3-to-1, 2-to-1 slope coming down off that driveway. And this is, we've got some stone, there's some asphalt, there's some yard waste. This is kind of a close-up of what's been dumped there. The stone is proposed to level out a hump in the road. I'm not quite sure what the use of the asphalt and the yard waste is. Again, we've got the stone and the asphalt. This is looking down the driveway towards the Arpino's home. And this is standing in the driveway looking at the pile again. And this is the map. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mary Rose. The video, or sorry, the photos were a little lag.
Oh, sorry, we're a little what?
Speaking to, but there's a little bit of a lag in what you're showing. There seems to be an internet sort of performance problem, but I think we understood what you were saying.
My apologies.
So at this time, I'd like to actually, before we ask any further questions, I'd like to ask either Carol or Joe Arpino to unmute yourselves and state your name for the record. Mary Rose, do you need to manually unmute them, perhaps?
I've sent a request to unmute. They are on a landline. And I'm not sure if they are able to do that. Mrs. Arpino, are you able?
You can't do it from your screen.
I can request it, but I can't hit the buttons for her. I'm not sure of the key sequence. I believe, Mrs. Arpino, if you hit *6, you should be able to unmute yourself. And it looks like they are unmuted.
Great.
Thank
you, Mary Rose.
Yep.
Mrs. Arpino, do you hear us?
Yes, it's a little bit muted though, so it's not too clear for us to hear.
Okay. At this time, Mary Rose has done an orientation as to the violation that's been recorded. Could you just state your name and address for the record, please?
State your name and your address.
Oh, Carol Arpino and Joseph Arpino, 104 Lavery Lane, Milford, Connecticut, 06461.
Thank you, Carol.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to add to the record that Mary Rose just reviewed with the agency?
Do you want
Not too much. We just didn't think this was going to be an issue because my husband's battling cancer right now and he hasn't had the time to just move that material because we want to fill in our roadway because it dips way down in. But we actually know there's a problem now. We didn't realize it was so close to the wetlands, but we have no problem getting to it and fixing it. He just got his chemo, so he's not feeling well, and he had a PET scan, but as soon as he's up to it, we will take care of this.
Okay. Wish him the best health. As far as the mitigation to the area of wetlands, you're comfortable with the conversation that you had with Mary Rose, that you'll be removing the debris and you'll be putting in the erosion controls by the dates that Mary Rose laid out?
Yes.
Okay. I would open it up for questions from the agency. Are there any questions from the agency at this time?
No, we just got the letter yesterday, I guess it was, and we went down to see Mary Rose, so we'll take care of it just as soon as we can.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Munson, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I just have a quick question for Mary Rose. Mary Rose, how long ago was the wetlands marked there?
That is a fairly old flagging. I don't have that data with me. It's a base layer that as we get applications in, we scan the line and put it in a folder. I believe that may stem from when we were talking about doing sewers out there, which is probably a good 15, 20 years ago.
All right. So whatever, no, doesn't matter. The most, Mr. Chairman, I think the most important thing is to get what's there out of there before it do any damage to the wetlands. And presuming they are wetlands, which I feel they probably are. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I'd agree. Any other comments? Any other questions for Mrs. Arpino? Or questions for Mary Rose?
No, I don't think so.
No, we'll try to get to it as soon as I get off this chemo a little bit.
Okay. Well, as I said, good luck with that. Please continue to talk to Mary Rose about the mitigation that's required, and do let us know through Mary Rose if you have any changes that you need to request to the violation. Back to the agency, Mayor Rose led off with a recommendation. I would like to ask if the agency is comfortable with her recommendation.
Yes.
I'm seeing
Yes.
yeses, seeing nods. Thank you.
I
Appreciate that.
think so.
Great. Mayor Rose, is there anything we need to do by way of a vote, or are you all set given this conversation?
You do need to, this was a violation, so it does need to be upheld. The original order required a survey, a wetland survey, and a mitigation plan. If you're comfortable with what the Arpinos have proposed, I've drafted a series of motions for you. The first is no action, which you actually do need to take an action tonight, so I'm sorry about that. The second is, as we discussed with Mrs. Arpino, getting everything done by the 27th of October. And the third motion is the same as the notice of violation letter. It just extends the dates out a little bit, given some timelines.
Thank you, Mayor Rose, for the orientation. I'd entertain a motion.
I can make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Connors.
It's safe to say we're going to go with the second one that goes through to the 27th.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to support that. Sounds like it.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move that the cease and desist order IWC-22-0016 104 Lavery Lane be upheld and modified to require that the property owner be ordered to 1, properly install soil erosion and sedimentation controls on the sites to prevent material from entering the wetland by 10/17/22. 2, by 10/27.
I don't,
That's not the motion.
I think we're looking for the second motion.
the,
Oh, I thought we were modifying it for the dates. No.
So Mayor
That's-
Rose, give us some guidance on this.
okay, there's two motions written for you that.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry. The second
There's
motion.
one
I was
to not
considering the
re-
first.
Okay.
I see which one you're talking about. Okay, so we're not extending those dates out to 12/1. Okay, or and we're not doing the survey.
That's for the agency to decide.
Correct.
Right, I think we said we are comfortable with your recommendation, which means it's the shorter.
Yeah, I was reading the wrong one. Sorry, I considered the second one. All right, Mr. Chairman, I move that the cease and desist order IWC-22-0016 104 Lavery Lane be upheld and modified to require the property owner to remove the dumped materials, stabilize the site with a New England conservation mix and/or native plantings, install proper soil erosion and sedimentation controls, and call for an inspection by 10/27/22. That is my motion.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a second from DeFameri. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Bahave, are you looking to discuss the motion?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Hearing no discussion, roll call vote, please.
I can call the roll for you, Lisa. Commissioner Bave,
Aye.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors.
Aye.
Commissioner DeFlumery,
Yes.
Commissioner Donaldson Gladue,
Aye.
Chairman Magnan,
Aye.
Commissioner Munson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tryon.
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for joining the meeting, Mrs. Arpino, and good luck with your husband's health.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to the next agenda item. Mayor Rose, if you don't mind putting the agenda back up.
Sure, give me 1 second.
There you go. They're done.
That's the end of ours. They
Right.
might have another one.
Give me
can
just a
hit.
second and I can make this bigger and mute that, hopefully.
I don't know.
They-
Are you seeing the agenda?
We are now.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda, proposed inland wetlands agency meeting dates for 2023. Mayor Rose.
This is the proposed meeting dates for our monthly meetings next year. As is typical, we meet the first and third Wednesdays, meeting at 7:30 p.m. The first Wednesday will be, I believe, the 4th of January. At that meeting, the aldermen will not have met. So there's 3 members who will not have received their reappointments should they choose to be reappointed. In consultation with the city attorney's office, it is my understanding that those commissioners remain seated until those positions are reappointed or refilled. So we would not be down commissioners, and assuming we have business that night, can meet on the 4th of January.
Thank you, Mayor Rose. Do we have a motion to accept the proposed meeting dates as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Anyone? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Connors. Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
We have a second for Mr. Munson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Babe,
Aye.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner David DeFlumery,
Aye.
Commissioner Jonathan Gladue,
Aye.
Chairman Magnan,
Aye.
Commissioner Munson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tryon.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item E, consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting. Do we have a motion to accept those as presented?
I can make the motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from DeFumeri. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Babe,
Aye.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner DeFlumery,
Aye.
Commissioner Donaldson Gladue,
I sustain. I was not present.
Chairman Magnan,
Aye.
Commissioner Munson,
Abstain.
Commissioner Tryon.
Great. Thank you. Motion carries. Item next up is the staff report. Mayor Rose.
All right, there's no significant changes into the staff report. We do have 3 commissioners that are up for reappointment in 2023. That would be Commissioners Munson, Panico, and Tryon. You'll receive communication from the mayor's office, but just to get you thinking about it and to contact Justin Rosen in the mayor's office if you wish to be reappointed. You can send him an email. There's a link to his email in the notes that were sent out this afternoon. We also have 1 alternate member opening. So if anyone has someone that may be interested in joining or volunteering on the commission, you can ask them to also contact the mayor's office. They can also contact their alderman. We continue to be very busy with inquiries, complaints, and the like. There's a lot of miscellaneous permits. The new permitting system requires multiple checks and balances. And frankly, Wetlands winds up clicking off 4 times to get a permit out the door. So It will eventually streamline and quicken the process, but right now it seems to be backing things up, trying to get everything in digitally. I continue to work on the hazard mitigation plan and community rating system, which are citywide programs which have a tangent connection to wetlands. Both of those have large reports due early next year, and that is a bit of a time sink. I think at the last meeting, we reminded you that Governor Lamont proclaimed 2022 is the year of inland wetlands and watercourses. That proclamation is in the links on the meeting notes. And in that vein, the Kakiwik annual meeting is the Saturday, I think it's the 29th, not the 30th. And that will be held in person for the first time in a few years. It's in North Haven. We need to get anyone who wishes to join to please let me know ASAP, because the accounting staff is down a few folks, and it's taking about a month to get checks out, which will land us after the meeting if we don't get some names in soon of people who would like to attend. As always, updates are in the draft notes and motions. I went out to Splash Car Wash, which is well under construction. They're working out well. They do have a modification to their plan. They had a temporary sedimentation basin below their bioretention basin. It's very well armored. It's very well placed. And they've asked if they can leave it in place afterwards as kind of a belt and suspenders should there ever be any kind of catastrophic rainfall event. It would back up the mitigation pond. I don't see any problem with that. They're going to put a light loom and seed over it. It's like having a secondary basin. And they hope to begin pulling asphalt and do some seeding this year. Other than that, everybody's moving forward slowly on their projects. We do have a couple of large projects that will be coming back. They're not ready yet, but we've been reviewing with their consultants to get them appropriately staged for the commission. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Okay, seeing none, moving on to Chair's report. Thank you, Mary Rose. The next meeting is October 19th. Mary Rose, just a question, if you do remember, and sorry to put you on the spot, is it in November that we generally have a discussion about training, or is it in January? Remind me, I'm a little fuzzy. Sometimes.
Right, that's okay. We usually try to put some training component tonight would have been a great meeting. We just didn't have the lead time to get it ready. Usually after the Kakiwik meeting, those who attend try to bring back and share the information they gained at that meeting. I then again, if we have a light meeting in December, do a very short training just to remind everybody what our requirements are. You can always retake the DEEP training and the LUA training that is available online from UConn is also very good. And those links are in the notes.
I'm going to float an idea for everyone to think about, and you guys can come back in the chair's report at the next meeting. But perhaps in December, we could have such a meeting to talk about topics of interest to share from Kakiwak, but also to discuss any other training collateral that we think is going to better position us for success as we conduct the business of the agency in the future. So I would just invite you guys to think about that. So you've got October and November to think about it. Yeah, and we could even discuss, ways of working, what's working well. I would appreciate sort of an open conversation about what we could do to make these meetings better. It's always difficult during these Zoom meetings to make sure everyone's fully participating, but I'd like to have an open conversation about that, just to make sure we're checking in on that. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I may, I believe the 15th, which is at some point next week or next weekend, Milford Trees is hosting a couple of tree walks that might be informational for commissioners. One, I believe, is on the North Street Duck Pond. But if you were to Google it or to check social media under the Milford Trees or the Milford Conservation Commission, you'd have access to those walks. There's also a couple of land trusts that are having a lot of walk and talks in the fall, including out east, the Eastern Conservation District, which participates in the Last Green Valley initiative. They're having a number of walks, talks, and kayak launches out east towards Rhode Island. That could be informational for commissioners.
Thank you. Very good. If there's no further questions or discussion on the chair's report, we'll move to adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Move to adjourn.
Looks like there's a little bit of a delay. We got a motion from Commissioner Munson already, Commissioner DeFameri. And it looks like Matthew Connors seconded the motion. Not that it's a competition, just first in, first out. Mary Rose, can you do the roll call vote?
Sure. Commissioner Bave,
Aye.
Commissioner Bedeker,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Commissioner DeFlumery,
Aye.
Commissioner Donaldson Gladue,
Aye.
Commissioner Magnin,
Aye.
Commissioner Munson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tryon.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for your time this evening. Thanks, Mary Rose, for all your help with the violation.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lisa.
Lisa, thank you. Hope you feel better.
Blessing, we are all set.
Did Lisa have technical issues? I assume she was still having a computer.
The hard drive on her machine's going. So she got an external mic and then she got bronchitis.
I wondered about that. Okay.
So she said, I can talk, but I'm going to cough. So she
That's
asked if I would read for her.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
I'm going to
good.
give you a call tomorrow. I have a sidewalk scheduled with Public Works in the morning. And I have a feeling we'll probably need to talk about that.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Just ping me on text before you call because I've got
Certainly.
it booked, but we can navigate those.
Yeah, I've got back-to-back meetings tomorrow, so it'll be kind of a catch as catch can.
Yeah, mine starts with Asia at 7:30.
I'm in the field at 8, so you know.
Hey, it's
Show
supposed
off.
to be rain tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice. There's not going to be all this rain and stuff that we've had for the last how many days?
A lot. It's working on our drought, which is a good thing.
That is true. Okay.